Welcome to Underqualified Thoughts, where two brothers-in-law have conversations stemming from their daily life. Expect nothing, everything, and anything. I think this is just one of those things we have to just start.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we're here.
Okay, so as the title goes, Underqualified Thoughts, thanks to Andy Sullivan. Appreciate the name.
No. I gave you 5 options and you chose that one.
Okay, well the other options were all...
Do we want to talk about the other options? That could be a great start.
Okay, yeah, pull up. What are the other options we had there?
The saddest thing is that someone already has a podcast called Underqualified. And that's like what I wanted it to be.
Just Underqualified.
Yeah, and then Anna Faris, who used to be married to Chris Pratt, which is shocking, honestly, that I know that because I know nothing about celebrity pop culture. She has a podcast called Unqualified, but I didn't look extensively into it, but they might not even be making any episodes anymore. But either way, it's already taken. The first one, the name was kind of an eye roll at you, the culture advocate. That was like, it was going to be the culture advocate with Caleb Youngblood, or starring Caleb Youngblood. And then I was just going to be the recurring guest.
Yeah, culture advocate. And truly, that name actually came from... there's this word used by the Bragworthy Culture podcast, culture steward.
Do you actually listen to podcasts?
I do actually listen to podcasts, yeah.
I'm not a big podcast guy.
I enjoy listening to the culture and thoughts people bring about businesses.
See, that's the thing. I enjoy listening to those things, but same thing with audiobook. Like the one podcast I listen to, Caitlin gets so annoyed when I have to rewind it, like 15 seconds or whatever. Because I can tell based off the inflection of their voice, they said something important, but I wasn't paying attention. I just missed it.
So I guess you're saying whenever we create important points, we need to emphasize them with our voice. That way people go back and re-listen to them.
Yeah, but you already do that when you're talking. Like just right there, you did it. You're like, that way people go back. Like you want people, like you were going to naturally inflect our voice. Like maybe whatever. Once we get good
Some
enough.
people don't though. They really don't.
Oh yeah, that's monotone, and that's just like. I mean, you were homeschooled. You don't know.
I was homeschooled.
Were your teachers monotone? I definitely had some monotone teachers.
My mom was not monotone at all. She was the most passionate
Egyptian you've ever met.
Yeah.
What about college though? You went to college.
I suppose right? I had some really bad monotone teachers that made class feel longer than it should have been. But the majority of the time, they were passionate about what they cared about and shared the knowledge.
What was always tough was when the class material was boring, and so it was like I would have been presenting a monotone too. Like I took a business ethics and like just one of those classes that every business major has to take, and you're basically just diving into the law of like what are you supposed to do by the book, and then what are you supposed to do like socially and ethically, and just teaching that is so dry. Like, you need a really good instructor to make that stuff come alive. Versus, I took a class called Mysterious Mushrooms and Mischievous Molds. The professor was awesome, but it's like, it feels like he had easy material to work with.
Yeah. Oh, it's already built in. Okay, so we already hit the first name that we were considering. What are the other ones that we were thinking about?
Young and Learning. And I felt like that was the most, like, I didn't love it, but it felt trendy.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the most on the nose, but it's pretty close.
It feels pretty on the nose.
It's pretty
close. No, I have another one.
I'm pretty sure
I have two. The next two are like literally the nose itself. Not on the nose, but it is the nose.
And if you haven't already picked up, this is how we're sharing kind of what this whole podcast is about. So the next two, on the nose.
I'm going to crack up at how I think I'm going to look at this as just talking to you. And you're the one who's going to have a mindset that people are actually listening, and you're going to talk to the audience.
If we're going to do it, we're talking to the audience. There's someone on the other end of that mic there.
What, my mom? Pam? Or our mother-in-law?
But it's an audience. We got to explain it.
All right. The next one, which you'll have to decide which one's more on the nose. I'll just actually give them back-to-back to you, and you got to tell me which one's more on the nose. First one, recording my brother-in-law.
That's what we're doing.
External processing.
That's also what we're doing. I think the latter is the most external processing, yeah, because legitimately we don't have a script or a rough draft.
Maybe it would be like
or
satire.
Even words.
If we were to do external processing, I would say it'd have to be satirical, and we would would have had to write down a line-by-line script.
Yeah, it would have to be created well. This, like my LinkedIn posts.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Tell me right
Already
now.
Jumping into
You
it.
don't have to do, you can either answer it in a percentage or you can just do time. But like, how much time are we going to spend talking about your LinkedIn posts?
10%.
I think that's low. I think that's a low guess. Because
Okay,
even if you don't say it, and maybe you learn to not say my LinkedIn post, you're going to be talking about something that you have already posted or are planning to post.
So then, by virtue of not referencing LinkedIn, that could fulfill the rest of the 98%. I'm just saying. But what I'm trying to say is, to bring context to the two people possibly listening to this, think about the people.
You mean you and me listening back to it?
3, your mom. 4, my mom. 5.
You're going to show this to your mom?
Kendall said that she'll listen to it.
No, I don't know, man. Kendall, if you're listening, that's awesome.
I'm sorry.
But I feel like you're just going to listen to it if you're like someone who just enjoys podcasts and like wants like audio filing in. Like I would, if I'm trying to play something in the background in my ears, like I'm playing music, but some people I know play podcasts, I feel like you're only going to enjoy this if you're that type of person. Maybe we'll be engaging enough and have enough content to pull people in.
Content is developing, 3 years from now, we'll look back and look at the garage. You know what I mean? Oh, man.
Are we calling, by the way, this is where we're sitting. Are you calling, quote unquote, the stereotypical startup garage, the guest bedroom in our apartment that currently has a desk, a queen bed, because this was a guest bedroom and an office, and now the gliding chair, the changing table, and the crib for my and the savant, Caitlin, soon-to-be child.
It's the garage.
with the pull-up bar, with the hangboard that you made on it.
It's the metaphorical garage.
With a built-in
Everyone
bookshelf.
starts somewhere. Earlier today I had someone barking down that road of, what equipment are you going to use to record this podcast? And I said to myself, I could either answer in very ambiguous terms about how technology is unnecessary at this moment, or just say, my iPhone.
Which means that technology is necessary, but not above and beyond technology.
Not above and beyond.
Who knows? I just turned my head away from the microphone to, like, is it going to be like one of those podcasts where you have to like talk right in the microphone?
No, that'd be fine. No, so back to the LinkedIn.
I literally had it in my head. I was like,
he's trying to get me away from that.
He's coming. I thought I could say, as you were saying about the LinkedIn post, but you had it so locked and loaded, ready to go. Oh, okay. Man.
So for those that are listening, Kendall,
Pam,
I've been working on career change, and one of the best tools I found for that is LinkedIn.
Hold on. We've both been working on a career change.
We have both been working on a career change, and we have both been utilizing LinkedIn, some of us more than others.
I really have not been utilizing it.
He happens to glance at some of the posts and things. Okay, but as I've explained, it's a thought journal, digitally recorded online, so that I can go back in the future and say, hey, this is how I've grown or not grown. These are thoughts that have changed. These are thoughts that have been enforced.
You're telling me that you're looking to use LinkedIn as a time capsule.
Time capsule. I think this is the same thing. Truly.
So
this is the same thing.
Why don't you just write it in a journal?
I like typing, and also I like to engage with those thoughts with other people.
So I was about to get on you because you can type a journal. They had typewriters.
Very true.
Now we have computers. But so the biggest thing for you is you're a man of the people.
I love engaging with people. And you're a man of the people. We're both men of the people.
I've definitely said many a time in my youth and in my adulthood that I'm a man of the people. Whether it's right or not.
No, you are. You are. I mean, by comparison, obviously there's someone probably out there in the world that is more of a man of the people. But by comparison to the other people in the world that we know aren't, you definitely are.
You're talking about our wives? They're just more introverted.
They're just more savant-like.
Especially mine.
Yes. Anyway,
circling all the way back.
So, back to the words.
The last podcast.
The names. Yeah.
Title, which is the one that we're going with.
Yep.
Yes? We're not going back?
I think so, yeah. Fairly confident.
You don't want to throw unsolicited advice on there? Did you Google it?
I checked. It's already a thing.
Look at that. Look at us. Word of mouth marketing podcast.
Wow. We just got them.
The last one is underqualified thoughts.
That's right. Underqualified thoughts. Talk to me about that. What's your?
Did we already talk about that?
No, we didn't.
Before we turned it on.
We've touched on it, but I want you to hit on the nose. Why those?
Also, before I do that, do you think a creaky chair is going to come up in the audio? No, mine.
No.
I'm sitting in such an uncomfortable position right now, but the two times I thought about moving, I was like, RIP headphone users, like this is just going to
it'll be fine. The 5 people listening.
Dude, that is too many.
Your mom, my mom, you and I are both going to listen to it.
I don't think my mom's going to listen to this.
Okay, never mind.
Not that she doesn't gonna. I think my dad would listen to this, but my mom is not tech savvy, and I do not think not tech savvy in the sense that I don't think she's gonna pull this up on Spotify and play it in her car while she's driving to work. But I also don't think, maybe she will. I also don't think that she's just going to sit down in her living room and pretend like this is 1965 and listen to the radio rather than watching TV or reading a book or.
Again, like I said, I think this is more of a time capsule.
Dude, this would be wild. Could you imagine if we look back at this at 60 and there's either one or two options. I can't think about one in between. Where we either have become media moguls and we've created our own, a Rhett and Link vibe, but except we don't go off the deep end. And we just build this whole media empire, or it's we do this twice and it never happens again.
Yeah, or I guess the third option could be, we've spoken about it where you're about to have the baby.
The baby? You can say the baby's name.
We're about to have you. Sorry, you are about to have the baby whose name is Lily.
There we go.
1 I or 2 L's? L-L-I. How does it go?
Did you say 1 I or 2
Sorry,
L's?
1 L.
So 1 I, you were right.
I guess you could have L.
It's 3 L's.
L-I-E, but
I don't know. We're doing 3 L's. L-I-L-L-Y. Because we were going to do 2 L's. In our group text with our family, we're brother-in-laws, by the way, is that I spelled it L-I-L-Y, and as soon as I sent it, I literally, in my head, said, ew, that looks gross. And so then I texted it back, said, just kidding, it's going to be, and then I spelled it with 3 L's.
Wow. Anyway, we've discussed how Andy is going to have Lily soon, and
could be tomorrow.
Yeah, could be. Actually, I was talking to McCam about that actually, and the other option could just be in the next 6 months or 3 months or however many months it takes to get situated with the kid. I continue on the podcast for a little bit, and then he comes back.
Whoa!
You said that.
Whoa! I said we do a storehouse. Instead of
build up the content.
Instead of doing a routine of we sit down once a week to do this until Lily comes, we just talk for a really long time whenever we do it, and split it up if we want to.
Well, we're at minute 13. So
you say it's 13 minutes.
We're at minute 13.
I thought you said a minute 13. I was can you read?
We are at minute 13.
So you're saying I should
It's all up in the air.
I should finish the actual thought of underqualified thoughts?
Sure, yeah. Talk to us about what it means.
Well, we're both underqualified in the careers that we want to go into. Yes?
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, when we're in those interviews, we will explain to them how we have done work in the past that qualifies us for it. But objectively, on paper, we don't have the titles we've never had the titles of the jobs that we want.
And what job do you want?
I want to go to be a product manager, but I'm open to other things. Basically, the 2 things that I want in a job are cross-functional collaboration. That's a buzzword that I learned during the process.
It's big right there.
Big buzzword. It's hyphenated too. And creativity. Not the stereotypical creativity of painting or making music, but thought creativity. I want to, I studied marketing, so I want the creativity of maybe not exactly, but creating an ad campaign or making a commercial or
Make your product come alive.
Come alive. Bounce off the page. Make it stick.
Hey, you're the one that's using all the buzzwords. My future career, I would say, is either customer success, or the most recent kind of pathway I've been looking into would be brand partnership management. The goal is always, within the career that I want to pursue, it's all about the people. And so you could use the blanket term HR, or what I would like to use more of a people team, everything about the people. Whether you're working on with...
I wonder who influenced you to call it that instead of HR.
There's been a lot of people. Oh, once again, Fringe. We'll throw them under the bus.
Not throw them under the bus. You're about to give them high praise.
Well, they're the reason why. Several people out there that are contributing to what I believe. The Brittany manager that I spoke to, basically moving me from a operational idea all the way over to people because of interpersonal skills. Love that idea.
Do you think once we become a big enough podcast, we're going to have to actually be careful about saying people's names?
Yeah, probably.
But, no more than 5 people are listening.
Right now, Brittany is Brittany. You know what I mean?
You don't even know her last name. Don't say it if you do.
I do know it, but I'm not going to say it.
Right.
And it's not Brittany Lewis. Okay.
Now we're going to have 6 people listening because you're just... Kendall's going to say, Brittany, they're talking about you.
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, everything about the people. That's where I want to go. And currently I'm teaching. I'm a teacher at high school.
So about the people.
What?
So about the people is your current job?
About the people, but not always for the people. I would love to transition into a role that's more always for the people. Unfortunately, the kids, they drive you crazy, and it's hard to always have that mindset. So
it's going to happen in the corporate world.
Yeah, eventually it will, and you run into the people that graduated high school that you hated to have to work with, and then you're going to be working with those people. So the same requirements and experience from teaching goes directly into those roles, showing the hiring manager that is the goal.
Is the goal.
And you said creativity and
cross-functional collaboration.
My 3 things are always working hard, valuing people, and staying humble. Those are like my 3 things in a job that I want to see.
Yeah, but
and it's not
working hard is like I get like mine, like creativity is vague, and that can be done in a lot of different forms. But no one's wants to hire someone who's not gonna work hard. No, so it feels almost like not redundant, but like unnecessary.
I think there's a lot of definitions. Check out my LinkedIn post on that about what makes a hard worker. And we'll talk.
Yes, by the way, for the 5 listeners, it's Caleb Youngblood followed by a rocket emoji. And I want you to know that as I started to say that, Caleb was leaning forward just in case I didn't say rocket emoji and make sure that I put that super important part.
You know, the other day I met a dude over the internet. He had the same look. And he's a dude, he has a ton of followers and all this nonsense. He had the rocket. He had the rocket emoji. And I looked at it and I was like, wait, I never saw it before. Someone's going to think that I copied this dude because he's trendy. No,
you copied someone else.
No, I didn't.
No, because you copied that profile that had a different emoji.
He had a different emoji. So I copied the emoji idea.
Yes.
This dude had my emoji.
Oh, it's not your emoji.
It's a good emoji.
Hold on. How many?
Check it out.
There's got to be what? There's almost 8 billion people in the world. I have no clue how many people have internet access.
I need to go to...
You can't claim emojis.
I know you can't, but I should go to...
Unless the emoji was made after.
The profile and profile search bar and just put an emoji and hit enter.
See what comes up?
Yeah.
It's not going to be you. Maybe it'll be you.
Just to see if there's how many...
Are you trying to Google yourself? Is that what's happening?
No. No. Anyway, so...
I feel like the only people who can claim an emoji is if an emoji is made after them or... whatever, like for the rocket per se. Elton John made Rocket Man, so that could be his. It would be a little rocket emoji with a man emoji followed, or an astronaut gets to claim the rocket emoji as their own.
Well, if any viewers or listeners,
what are they viewing? What are they
viewing? Their Spotify at the moment, thinking, should I close this? If any of the listeners have made it this far, we deeply thank you and apologize if we've called you out in less significant ways.
I think we can apologize for calling people out by...
I'll send him a text message. Sorry.
One of the things, so to finish the name, thoughts, I think it's a safety net so we don't get canceled. Like if someone tries to cancel us, we'll be like, oh, these aren't facts. They're just our thoughts, man. Like just our opinion.
Yeah. Considerations.
But it's very likely that the two of us, while we're just stream of consciousnesses, we are going to offend. Not on purpose, but we say things pretty confidently and we get disgusted's not the right word, but we get annoyed by things like characteristic traits that we see pretty easily. And so there's high likelihood that our community is going to be built up of people who will get offended by the things we say.
And that's their choice. Just like Ben says.
Yeah, this is America. You have the right to be offended.
Close down your phone. Find a different podcast. It's not that hard, people. There's a lot out there.
So you're telling me that we were growing. We went from 2 listeners to 3 to 5, and now we're back down to just the 2 of us listening to this.
Yeah. But what I was going to say.
What a great sales pitch for the first podcast. Hey, we're going to annoy you. If you don't have to stay here if you don't want to.
But for reassurance, at the beginning of every podcast, we are going to have at least one slightly on track thought, and then the rest is
chaos.
Yeah. So again, if you've made it to minute 21, 33 seconds, then good job.
That might be too high of a promise.
No, we'll try. I said try.
Hopefully you did.
I said try.
Yes, if you said try, then
try. We'll do our best. We'll try to have one main topic.
So now what do we do? Do we linger or do we just hard cut?
No.
And this is where we unfortunately have to end this episode due to Andy quickly turning off the recording. Thank you for listening to Underqualified Thoughts. Catch you in the next one.